Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Bugsmashers. Got some good news. I got myself a whole brand new office. It's pretty nice here in the corner. As he pans around, looks at my awesome monitors. Oh yeah. And I got my free pack of gum, my ammo, and my Disco Lando signature. Bugsmashers! Hey everyone. So we are here in our fabulous little test level. And I have an AI ship, and I'm going to go into AI physics mode. And we should be seeing some thruster effects, but we're not. So I'm going to turn on these little debug command to force the thrusters to turn on since our AI is not flying. And the bug that we have is not only is our main engine not working, but if we move this guy far away and back, move him far away, and we'll just teleport to him, you'll notice that all the engines have stopped working, but if I look at them a certain way, they kind of turn on. And the problem gets worse and worse the further away I am from the 0-0 origin. So what's happening? Well, unfortunately, these particles are having a fun time because if we go into our code right here, this bit determines whether or not we should see the thing, and it's trying to figure out, how close the camera is to the center of the ship. However, this bit of fun little code is actually taking the camera position and doing the difference between the origin of the level. And this is because of the way that this code is treating our zone space code. These sections of the code are in world space, and when we're telling it to get this transformation, we're taking a world space bounds, getting a world space matrix, and trying to compute a world space ABB out of that. We're getting some weird numbers because you're supposed to, for this function, pass in the world transformation matrix and a local space, and it'll make a world space transform, or bounding box. But if we're passing a world space one, we're going to get some weird stuff, as you can see here. Whee! So, going back into the code, have to clean up pretty much this bit. So if I undo these fixes, or undo the break, I changed the code here. It used to create a transformation based on the world bounding box, but what I have done is our nifty little zone system. I just said, hey, give me your current world space position, because the zone system automatically figures that stuff out. If I'm in a zone within a zone within a zone, this will tell me the world space calculation. So why do all that necessary work when we could just ask the zone system? And now we could get the correct distance from the camera and make sure that we are, in fact, from the camera to the vehicle and not from the camera to the center of the map. And I actually had to do some more cleanup in some other areas. As you can see, this was a little cleanup because it was, this was a fun one. So when I was cleaning this up before, I found this little bit, and since this is a world matrix and this is a local, it was basically downcasting and we were losing precision. So I had to undo that and make sure that we pass in the full world transformation. Then finally, this bit of code is where we pass in the information where we are into the zone. So if we go back to the broken code, if you notice here, we're taking the world space and telling the zone system that we're sending you a zone space transformation, which is completely wrong. So we're giving it world coordinates and treating it like we're in a local or zone space. So I had to clean that up. And now we say, all right, here's our normal transformation. And we're going to update this into zone space because this actually is zone space. These two functions here will actually take the world, this will take the world bounds and actually move it into the local or zone space. And the same thing goes for this function. This is basically in zone space or local space. So now with those two changes, we are updating correctly and making sure that we're updating the zone into the zone, the world into the world. When we come back into here and we grab our world absolute bounds, we should be good. So let's give that a compile. And as this goes on, you could think of this little piece of paper in this whole room. Its coordinates in this 0, 0 is in world space. And its bounds could be this whole big box. And this is all in world space. But say, do I have a pen? I have a pen. I draw a little thing right here. This is now in local space or zone space of this little object. And if we want to get this position in world space, we have to compute the location of it relative to this object, and then from that we could compute where it is in the world. But if we compute its world space against its world space, we're going to get some weird number like we were seeing here. So we have to go local then to world. So let's see what happens when we load up the map. Alright, so we are back in the test level. And let's turn on AI physics. Let's turn on our fancy dancy. Oop, I copied and pasted the wrong thing. Turn on my fancy dancy debug console variable. That will force the thruster effects to fire. And we'll move the vehicle way out into oblivion. And we'll teleport to him. Woo! As you can see, the thrusters are still on, including the back thruster. And there we have it. Now the particles are actually checking the distance between the eye and the thruster, or where the particle origin is, instead of the particle the eye to the origin of the map. And there we have it. We now have pretty particles working again. Yay! Teach me how to particle. Alright, so as you guys saw, we had a fun little issue with our particles where they were not taking into account the zone space, and they were in fact taking into account the world space when it tried to compute where it was in world space. So we took our world space and said, hey, we're going to compute our position in world space, and it just messed up our calculations. Instead, it should have said, all right, here's my zone space. Now we're going to transform it to world space, and then here's our particle. And with that, we were able to say, hey, here's the camera to the particle position. Yep, we could see it, show it. Instead of, hey, here's the position of the eyes to the origin of the map. Yeah, that thing's far away, even though it's right here. So that was fixed up, and now we can see our pretty little particles in the world and even inside of the ships. So hope you guys enjoyed. Till next time.
This video made possible by the ICC Stellar Surveyors and subscribers like you.